Hello, Mr. Tatum. Here is your 6138. I have it here. Um, I'm going to talk about a number of things. First, I'm going to talk about its running condition, which is bad. It is running extremely weakly. You can see it's got a fair amount of beat error and it's losing time. These two numbers are not really important because they can be adjusted out. What matters is this number. 124 is extremely weak. 123 is extremely weak. And yeah, it's having a lot of problems. The movement is in poor condition, and this honestly is what I expected to see 117 when I saw the watch and I saw the dial and how faded it was and how faded the hands were. And unfortunately, the movement looks exactly like I expected it to look. This is what I call a Philippines rework. This is a watch that lived. I mean, I don't know where you got this watch from. If I did not know anything about this watch, and I really don't, I would assume by everything that I'm looking at is that it was a watch that came from the Philippines. It lived an extremely hard-working life in a wet environment. It was then restored badly by somebody who had access to some spare parts, but not a lot of skill. And there are a lot of things wrong with this watch that can't be fixed. You'll notice all of the pitting inside the case from corrosion. You notice the discoloration on the winding weight and the wear on the winding bridge. The chronograph bridge is worn. I can tell you by just looking at it that the movement is heavily compromised. It's had moisture through it repeatedly, atmospheric moisture, and that's corroded it. I can tell you the winding weight feels stiff and gluey. All of the surfaces are hazy and discolored. It's it's a rough watch, and watches like this are very hard to bring back. Hang on just 1 second for me. I'm going to flip this over. The whole Philippines rework thing is further borne out by the condition of the dial and the cosmetic repairs that were done. The dial is faded. These are supposed to be a deep orange, and they're faded to yellow, these markers. Also, the hands are chipped, but also the restoration done on the hour and the minute hands is just terrible. I'm sorry to use that word, but it's the kind of sloppy work I associate again with the Philippines rework. They just sort of slam stuff together, try to make it look better, and try to make it saleable. I don't typically work on watches like this, and the reason for that being is that they're so compromised, so deeply compromised on so many levels, the case and the movement and the parts, that it's not worth. There's no amount of money that I can charge that will cover the amount of work that is needed in order to bring this back. And honestly, from my perspective, for you, I would strongly suggest that to not put any more money into this watch. It's not worth it. Take the money that you would spend on repairing this watch and buy a better condition example, and don't ever buy one from anywhere but the United States or Australia. Don't buy from the Philippines. Don't buy anywhere like that. Buy for cosmetic conditions first. So if you look at a watch and yeah, it's got a new insert on it and the case looks shiny, but if you look at this and you see that these orange hash marks are faded to yellow, see the hands are all hacked up and gross, then this is a watch to not go near. Hang on just 1 second. I mean, you can, for what you would have to pay in order to have me bring this back, you could find a much better example that wouldn't need all of the things that this watch would need. And even if you were to pay for all of the restoration that this watch needs, you still wouldn't have a watch that was clean and good and original. This watch needs everything. It basically needs a new movement. It needs a new dial. It needs original hands. It needs a lot. I mean, you're looking at the numbers now. I flipped it over. it can't even, it's not even coming up with a coherent signal. It's just a mess. I am so sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but I would strongly recommend absolutely not putting in any more money into this watch. Don't put a dime into it. Find a better one. I can even help you find a better one. Send auctions my way, and I'll evaluate them for you. We can find a much better watch for you than this. Okay. Again, I'm so sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but I hope that I can help you in future to find a much better watch and to spend your money wisely on a watch where that money will be effective. Okay. Thank you very much.